Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together,
we are the Northwest Sports Fanatics.
Back at you guys with the Northwest Sports Fanatics top 3 NFL teams. It's our Northwest Sports Fanatics Power Rankings.
All right, so it was an exciting weekend in the NFL, so let's get right to it.
All right, let's start with our number 3 team. Man, it hurts my heart every time. We're going to have to go with the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, so Dallas Cowboys, 7-1, defeated a winless Brown team, 35-10 on the road.
And the Cowboys keep on rolling, and as long as they're rolling, Tony Romo, you need to sit down on the bench. Shout out to Mr. Cole Beasley right now, and of course Dez was injured, but he's the leading receiver right now for you guys. 43 receptions, 500 yards, and also 4 TDs.
All right, so Dak Prescott, 21 for 27, amazing. Only 6 incomplete passes, 247 yards, 3 TDs, no picks. And then he's got his right-hand man, the Batman to his Robin, Ezekiel Elliott, 18 carries, 92 yards, 2 TDs on the ground. One of the best, probably 1-2 punches we've seen in many, many years.
Yes, and it's definitely special as they are doing it, both rookies. Here's some other stats about the Cowboys. So they're doing a great job out there in Dallas. I can't hate on that. Number 2 in the NFL in total offense. And here's a surpriser for you. Number 10 in the NFL in total defense. With all the injuries that they've had, Mr. Rod Marinelli, you're doing a great job down there.
Right, they're only giving up a mere 17.5 a game, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. But I'm going to get into an injury report that may change that. But best start since 2007. Wow. So who would have thought? The Browns now collectively are 0-9, 3-27 in the last 30. So they definitely beat up a team at the right time. I think their last win, I believe, was Johnny Manziel, a.k.a. Johnny Football. So it's been a long time. But up next, you play a beat-up Steeler team who's 4-4 on the road. Big Ben is back, but he hasn't looked 100%. D'Angelo Williams is injured. Hayward Bade, wide receiver, is injured. But the key injuries are on the Cowboys side. They got Morris Claiborne, one of their star corners, out. You got Barry Church, their starting safety, out. So their secondary is definitely going to have some weaknesses and some holes for Big Ben and obviously a lot of the wide receiving core on the Steelers. But the Cowboys are averaging 28 points per game. And then, like I said earlier, only giving up about 17.5. So that may change with Big Ben obviously getting on a roll.
All right, that's our number 3 team. Let's keep the ball rolling. The number 2 team, the Oakland Raiders.
The Raiders. All right, they're 7-2, defeated a very good Broncos team, 30-20 at home in the Black Hole.
And that was a pretty good game. It was kind of a coming out party for the Raiders, the young Oakland Raiders. Their O-line has been huge this year, especially with an impressive win versus the Denver Broncos. Number 4 ranked defense in Denver. You beat them up for 218 yards rushing. Latavius Murray went for 20 carries, 114 yards, 3 TDs. He's the 3rd running back in NFL history to rush for over 100 yards with 3 TDs against the defending champions. The other 2, D'Angelo Williams, and of course your guy, Mr. Warwick Dunn.
All right, so with Latavius Murray, just to kind of add a little bit with him, he really reminds me of a better version of Eddie Lacy.
Yes.
You know, he's very solid. He doesn't fumble the ball too much. He has good help on the O-line with Donald Penn, formerly of the Buccaneers. So I see them kind of shifting the AFC. Probably at this point, not as good as the Patriots, but they're getting closer. And if they have a couple more drafts and they have a couple more nice draft picks, they're going to be right there with them. They do have a bye week this week, so they can get rested up. And then the following week, November 21st, they have a Monday night showcase versus the Texans, who they host in Oakland.
And I just want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Donald Penn. I mean, he's a castaway. He was on my team. He was on the Bucs. But he's performing like one of the best left tackles in football right now. I mean, they only gave up 2 quarterback hits, you know, with the likes of Von Miller, Shane Ray, and DeMarcus Ware. That's a pretty amazing feat.
Right, and I have some good stats for Khalil Mack fans out there. He is a future Hall of Famer. Against the Broncos, check this out. 2 sacks, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery. Now, this is amazing for a guy that kind of started a little slow. So definitely Pro Bowl bound this year. Now, this is the first time since 2012 where they didn't allow a first down in the first 4 drives.
Wow.
Very impressive for a team that got criticized that their defense wasn't good enough. But obviously they were good enough against a quality Bronco team. And look for the Raiders to possibly get a wild card bye. Maybe finish number 2 in the AFC with maybe like a 12-4 record. And they look very, very dangerous this year.
All right, so there you have it. Our top 2 teams, and let's go to the number 1 team. Of course, we're going to go out to the Northeast, and we're talking about the New England Patriots.
So I know we kind of sound like a broken record, 7-1. You did have a bye week, but up next, you have the game of the week and arguably one of the games of the year. You host the Seahawks at home, 5:30 p.m. NBC on Sunday Night Football in an instant classic.
I mean, as much as the Patriots got things rolling right now, the only knock on them that I can see is you're not getting enough sacks right now. You're ranked 28th in the NFL. You're on pace for 26 sacks on the year, and that's the lowest total that they've had since 2000. I mean, you had Chandler Jones is gone, no Jamie Collins. I know Nikovic missed some time earlier, but someone on that defensive line is going to have to step up and start sacking that quarterback.
Right, and I know Belichick will get them motivated. You know, Tom Brady versus Russell Wilson. On the offensive side will be definitely a key matchup. Brady, 12 TDs, no interceptions,
wow.
1,319 yards passing with missing the first 4 games. Very impressive MVP candidate versus Russell Wilson, who's definitely one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. His numbers are down this year. 7 TDs, 2 interceptions, 2,094 yards passing. They have been relying heavily with the run game with Christian Michael, 6 TDs. He'll be going against LeGarrette Blount on New England side, 9 TDs. So look for those 2 guys to kind of battle it out. The keys to the game are going to be ball control and turnovers. So pretty much whoever controls that ball for a good chunk of that, time in the second half may come up with the victory. Now, key injuries in the game for the Pats, none.
Wow.
So they don't got anything to worry about, at least so far, until we get closer to the weekend. But the Seahawks have quite a few. Michael Bennett, obviously star DN, a little dirty, little scrappy, but definitely one of the best in the NFL. He's out. Cam Chancellor is questionable. So the Legion of Boom is going to be missing one of their key pieces. So we're going to have to see really how they develop and move forward without their stud. Now, Seattle squeaked out a victory against the Bills last night, and it showed you how good Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas III, and some of these guys really are. But as you know and I know, the Patriots are another beast, another animal. So we'll have to kind of see how that turns out. And another matchup to look out for, Gronk Spike versus Jimmy Graham. Probably one of the best tight end matchups you're going to see all year.
And Jimmy Graham had some amazing catches last night as well. But back to the Patriots. They got some good news. Mr. Dion Lewis, he's set to make his return pretty soon. So add another weapon to the arsenal that they already have out there. They sitting at 7-1, 6 straight division titles, 11 out of the last 12. And with the next team sitting at 4-4, it's going to take an unbelievable collapse for them to not make it 7 straight division titles.
Right, so with all the teams that we're mentioning, right now it really looks like it could be the Patriots versus the Raiders, right? Come obviously in January, end of December, AFC Championship game, and then obviously Cowboys in Seattle. So you have the snowball repeated 2.0, obviously with the Raiders and the Tuck rule with Tom Brady, and possibly the Cowboys and the Seahawks with the whole Tony Romo fumble that we had about 10 plus years ago. So a little history in the making, maybe a little karma, maybe a little different outcome. We'll have to just wait and see.
All right, so there you have it. Northwest Sports Fanatics top 3 NFL teams. I'm Marcus. This is Orion. Only got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us?
Northwest Sports Fanatics.